Tsunade glanced up at the fidgeting Naruto, then down at the paper in her hand. Her breath was caught in her throat as she walked towards the Uzumaki. She carefully pulled the black needle out of the back of his neck. Naruto let out a gasp as his chakra started to move once more. After a few deep breaths, Tsunade handed him the chakra DNA test results. She leaned against the wall, watching Naruto as he slowly scanned the document. "What does all of this mean?" the blonde finally asked, bewildered. "It says that the test revealed no information regarding your unique abilities. The test was meant to scan your DNA for specific genes. Chakra genetics are unique compared to the rest of your DNA. You are often born with an elemental affinity or two, which correspond to a different gene. Over time, if someone is able to learn other affinities, their chakra forms another gene, which then combines with your pre-existing DNA. Even to this day, we still don't understand how this happens. But we can tell the difference between those genes." Tsunade scratched her head in frustration. "But when looking at your DNA, none of them were passed on to you by Minato or Kushina." "What does that even mean?" Naruto asked, his mind a blur. Tsunade sighed. "You were born with no natural affinities. It wasn't until you started using chakra as a child did your chakra create new DNA. Few shinobi are able to use all 5 elements. Hiruzen is an example. He was born with a fire affinity, but pushed himself to master the other 4. However, a learned affinity will always be weaker than one passed on. But you are very different. You don't have that limitation. Your chakra seems to have a mind of its own, is the best way I can explain it," Tsunade admitted. Naruto was silent. He raised his hand, looking at his palm. He blinked several times before finally looking back up to the Sannin. "So, what you are saying is that my own chakra created the DNA needed to use nature transformations?" The Sannin nodded. "And because of that, it also made the DNA necessary for me to use Kekkei Genkai elements?" Tsunade frowned. "That is what's even stranger. Kekkei Genkai genes cannot be created by chakra alone, which is why clans exist, like the Uchiha or Yuki. You need that gene to use it. But you don't have a gene for any Kekkei Genkai. Your chakra can simply bypass this fundamental law, allowing you to form Kekkei Genkai elements at will. In theory, this would make it possible for you to even create brand new elements." Naruto's eyes were hazy, his mind slowly processing this new information. He wasn't sure if this was good or bad. He'd always known this power was rare, but this new information arguably made it worse. He had only scraped the surface of his potential. If what Tsunade said was true, the only limits to his techniques was his own imagination. Stack the Ninetales chakra on top, the likelihood others would either try to capture or kill him had grown exponentially. This is all the more reason you need to both get stronger and keep this power a secret, Tsunade continued. Team 7, Jiraiya, Shizune, and myself know the full truth, and I'm sure plenty of your peers have figured it out somewhat. But I forbid you from telling anyone else without my authorization. Understood? Naruto nodded. I guess I should let you get back to Rock Lee now, he sighed. Tsunade chuckled. Even after this dump of information, he was still thinking about others. Don't worry, Naruto. Lee will be fine. I plan to do the procedure by the end of this week. Only after that will I take Hiruzen's hat and become the Hokage. You should go to your team. Or better yet, you should go see Karin. I bumped into her yesterday near the hospital. She's been waiting to see you, but figured you were busy with other things. Naruto's face paled. I completely forgot about Karin. What kind of cousin am I? The blonde blurted out, running out of the door in a hurry. Tsunade watched him run off with a smile, heading towards the Hokage Tower. She needed to finalize some details before she could do Lee's procedure. Outside the hospital, Naruto met up with Haku and Sakura. Both were still a little shaken by Sasuke almost killing Naruto on the roof, but when they saw the blonde charging out, that worry seemed to vanish. Haku, I'm going to see Karin for the rest of the day, so I might not be back to the Forest Haven for a while. Okay, Haku replied hesitantly. She almost insisted that she'd come along, but stopped herself. Sakura noticed Haku's expression. It was one she found herself making plenty of times. Naruto sped off, leaving the girls by themselves. Sakura instantly felt nervous. The two of them were never alone together. Although she'd come to see Haku as a friend, she still gave off a cold aura. Sakura took in a deep breath, turning to the Yuki. How about we get something to eat? Sakura finally asked, surprising Haku. Are you certain? Why not? Sakura shrugged. Sasuke and Naruto have already run off. Besides, it looks like you could use a break too. Haku paused, unsure how to respond. It took her several minutes before she finally agreed to Sakura's offer. The two arrived at Ichiraku Ramen a while later, the owners recognizing Haku. Is Naruto not with you this time? Teiuchi asked. Haku shook her head. He's with Karin. That's good to hear, Ayame, Teiuchi's daughter, added. Karin has been here several times, and appears to have the same like for ramen. It's nice to know those cousins are spending more time together. Haku nodded slowly, Sakura ordering their meals. They ate in silence, Sakura unsure what to say, Haku unsure how she would respond. Finally, Sakura forced out the question that was haunting her. Haku, do you love Naruto? Haku took a moment to register what Sakura just asked. Once she did, her head snapped towards her with shock. Sakura was taken aback by her expression. Haku's eyes were wide, face red. Sakura barely held back laughter. I would take that as a yes, Sakura answered for her, smiling widely. Haku felt the words caught in her throat, her gaze shifting away from Sakura. I don't know if you would call it love. I don't even know what love means. Whatever it is, I do not want it to be what you feel for Sasuke. Sakura blinked, a frown forming. To be honest, I don't know what I think about Sasuke anymore, she admitted. I haven't really thought about it until now. But Sasuke almost just killed Naruto. They were always fighting with each other, but this was different. He's changed. Haku shook her head. He has always been like this. Encountering his brother has simply reawakened his ambition. Before that, you, Naruto, and the rest of this village were what held him together. Sakura hung her head low. I don't know if I love him. I don't know if I ever did. He never acknowledged me. He never liked me when we were in the academy. I was obsessed back then, but I think that all I was obsessed with was that image I had of him. I've never known the true him. But at the same time, you don't know how to let go, if you even can, Haku added. Sakura looked at the Yuki, nodding slowly. Turns out we have the same problem. But unlike Sasuke, I'm sure Naruto likes you. Haku shrugged. Even if that is the case, I'm uncertain if anything should be done. Once I return to Lord Zabuza, we may never meet again. Do you think Zabuza will force you to stay? Haku didn't answer. Well, it's probably better that Naruto at least knows how you feel. That way, if you do never see each other again, you'll at least know that you tried. Haku looked up at Sakura, a faint smile forming. Perhaps. Sakura smiled back, the two sitting in silence for a while, before deciding to go their separate ways. Haku walked down the streets aimlessly, watching the civilians go about their daily lives. Once Tsunade returned, the village was looking more lively. The position of Hokage was a very important one to the people. It made Haku wonder how the hidden mist could be so different. As the thought floated through her mind, her eyes were drawn to the rooftop of a particular building. Looking down at her was a small rabbit. Its fur was snow white, eyes blood red. Haku recognized it instantly. Without thinking, she jumped onto the rooftop after it. The rabbit dashed off, towards the forest within the village. Haku realized it was headed towards the forest haven. She landed next to the waterfall, the rabbit sitting inside the small cave. Interesting place that Naruto boy has. Haku felt her heart skip a beat at the sound of a familiar voice. The rabbit was consumed by smoke, the figure appearing in its place. Lord Zabuza, Haku said, not holding back the smile that appeared on her face. Just a shadow clone, I'm afraid, Zabuza answered, smirking behind his bandages. Seems you have changed quite a bit since I left. Haku reined in her smile, bowing slightly to her master in apology. No need for that, kid, the man chuckled. The blonde was right. Your time here was time well spent. And I can tell you've been getting stronger, too. Yes, Lord Zabuza, Haku replied. Are you here to retrieve me for the attack on the Mizukage? No, I'm here to tell you that we begin our assault in 1 month. I wanted you and Naruto to know ahead of time so you can get prepared. Haku's posture straightened. I shall let Naruto know immediately. Zabuza nodded, looking around the forest haven. Tell me, Haku, do you like it here? Haku paused. I'm not sure what you mean, Lord Zabuza. Do you like living in the leaf, with the boy? Is it better than living as my tool? Haku shook her head. No, my true place is by your side. That is my role, to be a weapon for you to command. Zabuza's eyes narrowed. You're not very good at hiding your emotions. Haku was taken aback, her fists tightening. Once we deal with the Mizukage, I plan to take you back as my student. You would become a member of the renewed Hidden Mist. But now that I'm seeing how much you've grown, I'm not certain if that's what you want to do now. The words were stuck in her throat. Haku couldn't answer. The two lives she had finally coming to clash. Zabuza or Naruto? Her master sighed. I won't make you decide now. I'll ask you again, after the mist is free from Yagura. I'm not ordering you. This is a request. Think very hard on what you want to do. Whatever you decide, I will listen. Zabuza stood, walking towards the Yuki. He placed his hand on her shoulder. For what it's worth, I've changed a lot too. If you do decide to join me again, I won't treat you like I did before. Naruto is right. You're not a tool. Haku felt her body tremble, warmth coming over her in waves. From the way he held her shoulder, she could also tell he had changed. All she could do was nod as Zabuza's clone burst into smoke. Streets of the Hidden Leaf, minutes later. Are you sure you're okay living alone? Naruto asked as he and Karn walked through the village, carrying things towards Karn's apartment. I'm okay, really, Karn answered. Lord Hiruzen made sure to set up an apartment for me ahead of time before before he died. I think it was the one he had for you, in case you didn't want to live in the forest anymore. Naruto sighed. Alright, I'm just worried about you being alone now. When you lived with the old man, I knew you would be safe. But the whole village knows who I am, and they know we're cousins. Even if you have nothing to do with the Nine Tails, that won't stop them from coming after you. Karen nodded. I understand, but I can take care of myself. Besides, I don't want to intrude on you and Haku. Naruto raised an eyebrow. What is there to intrude on? He asked as they walked up the steps to Karen's apartment. You really don't know? Karen asked, shocked. Haku likes you. You mean she loves me? Karen nodded furiously. I've never told you this, but one of my Uzumaki powers allows me to tell if people are lying by looking at their chakra fluctuations. It's not hard to learn how to read other emotions too. And even without that, I think anyone could tell she's interested in you. She just keeps it to herself. She must not know how to tell you, or if she should. Naruto was at a loss for words as Karen fumbled with her door keys. He never considered Haku would feel that way about him, and to make matters worse, he wasn't sure how he felt about her. Unfortunately, he had to push those thoughts away as Karen opened the door, a man standing in the middle of Karen's apartment. Naruto reached for a kunai instantly, Karen shrinking behind him. There is no need for that, the man stated, staring at the two Uzumaki with thin eyes. I am only here to talk. I come alone, without weapons. Naruto eyed the man closely. He supported himself with a cane, his other arm hidden inside his black and white cloak. One eye and most of his forehead was covered with bandages. A large, X-shaped scar was on his chin. Naruto felt his anger begin to rise. You're Danzo, aren't you? The man nodded. I assume Jiraiya and the late Hiruzen told you about me. No matter. Whatever worries you have, I suggest you rid yourself of them. Naruto growled. I don't think so. You're nothing but trouble. What gives you that impression? Danzo inquired. You'll do anything to get what you want, even kill or manipulate people. We are shinobi, that is our job. Your younger generations are far too attached to emotions. Even my old friend Hiruzen fell prey to them. Danzo frowned. But I am not here to argue ideologies. I'm here to speak with the two of you. The last Uzumaki that I am aware of. You know about our clan? Naruto frowned, Karen inching closer to him. I would be a fool not to. Most have forgotten your clan's genetic superiority. But I was fortunate to live during the time of Mito Uzumaki, wife of the first Hokage. She was the strongest of the Uzumaki. And of course, your mother was capable in her own right. Naruto's chakra began to build up in his legs, ready to fight. So, you do know who my parents are? Danzo shrugged. Of course I do. After all, I was the one who began the rumors about you that caused you so much suffering. You mean... Yes, I told the village that you were the demon fox taking human form. The information was false, but it accomplished its intended purpose. What purpose could that possibly be? Naruto spat out, his eyes flashing red. Danzo's eye narrowed. After Minato passed, the village was thrown into disarray. Hiruzen did what he could to quell the unease and begin repairs to the Hidden Leaf. But the people needed something to direct their hatred upon, so they could focus on rebuilding this village back to its full strength. It was quite easy to make you that scapegoat. Naruto's fists were white, his eyes now slits. The only thing that kept him from attacking Danzo was Karin's firm grip on his arm, her eyes filled with fear. Now, on to the reason for my visit. I have been made aware of your unique abilities, unique beyond your Uzumaki heritage. The ability to control all 5 elements is a feat many wish for, yet you have it without any major training. Secondly, your cousin has special abilities of her own. Due to these facts, I come to you two with an offer. What could you give that I could possibly want? Naruto snarled. And what's in it for you? Danzo walked closer towards the cousins, his figure looming over them. His single eye seemed to pierce their souls, void of emotion. Karin's nails dug into Naruto's flesh, her fear on full display. I request that you two create offspring, Danzo declared. Both Uzumaki froze, confused for a moment before Naruto finally tilted his head. Danzo sighed. As the only Uzumaki loyal to the Hidden Leaf, you are the only ones who can revive your clan. Regardless of how you've been treated, I know you care for this village, boy, as do I. Creating children will not only give the Leaf new, powerful shinobi, possessing both you and your cousin's abilities, but also give potential Jinchuriki for the Nine Tails. Danzo was silent for a moment, allowing his words to sink in. The two of you will elevate this village beyond anything it has ever been in the past. All you need do is revive the Uzumaki. Out of the question, Naruto snapped. Danzo blinked. Why? Naruto barely detected the annoyance in his voice. I refuse to force Karin to take part in something so disgusting, Naruto seized. I would never take part in a union that you're suggesting. Not if it meant all my children would be taken advantage of by people like you. I won't ever allow someone else to be subjected to the life of a Jinchuriki. Danzo blinked once more. His lack of emotion made the cousins fear him more than if he was enraged. But Naruto held his gaze until Danzo finally looked away. Very well. I shall not press this issue further. For now, you two are protected by the likes of Tsunade and Jiraiya, both who I do not need hovering over me at this time. However, I will not forget this encounter, and we will resume this discussion in the future. Perhaps then you will change your minds. Naruto blinked, and Danzo was gone, as if he was never there. The pressure vanished instantly, the blonde taking a huge sigh of relief. He whipped around as Karin fell to her knees, breathing heavily. Are you okay? Naruto asked frantically, holding the shivering Karin in his arms. Maybe I'll stay with you and Haku for a few days after all. I don't think I can sleep with him still in my mind. Karin's eyes met Naruto's, making the blonde's heart drop. She was a nervous wreck. He couldn't blame her. Although the Nine Tails made him largely immune to fear, Karin was the opposite. He doubted she could stand. All Naruto could do was pull Karin closer, allowing his chakra to flow into her. She felt its warmth, bringing a small amount of comfort. Naruto's forest haven, hours later. Karin was finally able to fall asleep, Naruto walking out of the cave. Haku stood underneath the waterfall, cleaning her hair. Sorry Karin had to take your bed until I can get an extra, the blonde said as he sat down beside the lake. No worries. She's your cousin, I understand. Naruto nodded, absent-mindedly twirling a kunai in his hands. What should I do about Danzo? You told him no, and as he said, Tsunade and Jiraiya would never allow what Danzo suggests to happen. He won't stop. Tsunade and Jiraiya know that too. Then all you can do is grow stronger to protect yourself and Karin. Naruto frowned, nodding in agreement. Speaking of, I was visited by Zabuza. He attacks the Mizukage in 1 month. Naruto looked up at Haku, their eyes meeting. 1 month to get stronger? Haku nodded. Do you think we will be of use? I have to be. I need to prove to Zabuza that letting you live in the leaf was a good idea. He already does, Haku answered. He gave me the option to either return to his side or stay with you after we defeat the Mizukage. Naruto stopped his fidgeting. Did you decide? Haku shook her head. I will decide after the battle is over. Naruto was the first to look away, Haku's face turning red. Both were silent, unsure what to say. Naruto now knew how she felt about him, but he was scared to bring it up. Haku was the same. Naruto simply shifted into a meditating pose. Haku going back to washing her hair. Uncomfortable silence filled the night. If you like what you just heard, consider hitting the subscribe button and bell icon to get notified about new videos. If there's a part you've missed, then check out the entire playlist on screen. If you like this story, please share it with your fellow anime lovers. Any support helps a lot. That's all for now. This is Ninja Kai, disappearing in a golden flash.